What's up, guys? Today, we're reviewing my girlfriend's 2025 Acura ADX A-Spec all-wheel drive. We're going to check out the exterior, cargo space, engine bay, interior, do some revs, and then take it out for a test drive to see how this new compact luxury SUV feels on the road. She got this model in Acura's Urban Gray Pearl with a white Orchid interior, which I think is a great color combination on this car. She bought this car a few months ago and traded in a 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee that was starting to have some electrical issues. She bought this certified pre-owned with 1,200 miles on the car. The car starts around $40,000 brand new. My girlfriend got this for around $34,000 out the door. The Acura ADX is related to Honda's HR-V. It shares a similar platform and overall structure with the HR-V, but Acura completely upgraded the experience with this car. It has better power, better materials, more technology, improved sound isolation, and a much sportier design. So even though it shares some DNA with the HR-V, this is definitely a different car. The ADX also gets a turbocharged four-cylinder engine, upgraded suspension tuning, all-wheel drive, bigger wheels, and a way more premium interior. Starting up front, the ADX has a pretty aggressive look for a smaller SUV. You've got Acura's signature diamond pentagon grille, LED headlights, LED daytime running lights, LED turn signals, and LED fog lights. I honestly think Acura nailed the styling on this thing. It looks both sporty and premium without trying too hard. Now, coming around to the side, this A-Spec gets those 19-inch shark gray multi-spoke wheels wrapped in 235 by 45 R19 all-season tires. These wheels really complete the look of the car and give it a much more premium and sporty appearance. You also get gloss black trim pieces, heated side mirrors, smart entry, and a panoramic sunroof as we'll see on the inside. The ADX has a nice ride height too, with about 7.3 inches of ground clearance. It's 185.8 inches in length, 63.8 inches in height, and has a width of 72.5 inches. So this is a pretty decent sized car for being a compact SUV. For reference, the BMW X1 is about 177 inches long, the Audi Q3 is around 178 inches long, while the Lexus UX is only about 177 inches. The ADX also rides significantly higher than the Mercedes-Benz GLA with 5.7 inches, and the Lexus UX with 6.3 inches, and the Audi Q3 that has 6.7 inches of ground clearance. As I said, the ADX is 72.5 inches wide, which is basically identical to its competitors like the BMW X1 at 72.6 inches, Audi Q3 at 72.8 inches, the Lexus UX at 72.4 inches. But because the ADX is nearly 8 inches longer than some of those SUVs, it gives the car a much more stretched out and larger presence instead of looking short and stubby. From the back, I think the rear end looks pretty clean and modern. It definitely gives off a more upscale vibe than a lot of other compact SUVs. You have LED taillights, LED turn signals, LED reverse lights, the sporty rear bumper, a spoiler, and a power liftgate. It's also got dual exhaust, which I think gives this car a much sportier appearance and fits well overall. Now let's check out the cargo space. The ADX has 23.2 cubic feet of cargo space behind the second row, which is pretty solid for a compact luxury SUV. You got rear seats that fold down flat, so if you need more space, giving you up to 55.1 cubic feet of cargo space. For comparison, the Audi Q3 has about 23.7 cubic feet behind the seats and 48 cubic feet max, while the Lexus UX only has around 17 cubic feet behind the seats. Even the BMW X1, which is one of the roomiest SUVs in the class, only slightly beats the ADX with 25.7 cubic feet behind the seats and 57.2 cubic feet folded down. And because the ADX is longer than a lot of its competitors, you really notice the extra room, so the cargo area is large and usable instead of small and compact. So whether you're loading groceries, luggage, camping gear, or bigger items with the seats folded down, the ADX is honestly way more practical than its sporty design may make you think compared to its competitors. And again, this car has a power tailgate with walkaway feature, which is super convenient. Okay, so now let's check out what's powering the ADX. Under the hood, we have a 1.5-liter dual overhead cam VTEC turbocharged inline four-cylinder, making 190 horsepower and 179 foot-pounds of torque. It's got direct fuel injection and a 10.6 to 1 compression ratio, which helps balance both power and fuel efficiency. Now, being an Acura, which is owned by Honda, reliability is one of this car's many strong points. Unlike its competitors like BMW, Mercedes, and Audi, Honda and Acura have a long reputation for building some of the most dependable engines in the industry, so this drivetrain should hold up very well for daily driving and long-term ownership. Now, being a 1.5-liter four-cylinder, it makes pretty solid power for what it is. It's not going to compete with the larger 2-liter four-cylinder turbo like in the RDX, but it has more than enough power to merge onto the highway, pass slower traffic, and comfortably cruise around town in. The torque also comes in really low, at around 1700 RPM, so the ADX feels pretty responsive while driving, and you don't notice much turbo lag like you do in some other smaller turbocharged engines. This is paired to Acura's in-house designed CVT transmission with paddle shifters and Acura's intelligent all-wheel drive system. One downside, though, is that this ADX doesn't get Acura's signature super handling all-wheel drive system. You'll have to move up to the more expensive RDX if you want that more advanced all-wheel drive setup. For fuel economy, Acura rates the ADX at an impressive 25 in the city, 30 on the highway, and 27 combined. This car weighs around 3,500 pounds and has a 14-gallon tank. Acura recommends 91 octane gas, but you could put in regular 87 octane and the car would run perfectly fine if you don't mind a tiny dip in fuel economy. The ADX uses a well-balanced suspension setup that blends sporty handling and everyday comfort. Up front, it features a Mach Pearson strut suspension, while the rear uses a more advanced multi-link design. The front suspension does a great job absorbing bumps and road imperfections, while the multi-link rear setup improves stability and helps the car feel more planted and composed through corners. To further sharpen handling, the ADX comes equipped with performance-oriented front and rear stabilizer bars. These reduce body roll during aggressive cornering, giving the ADX a more confident and controlled feel without sacrificing ride quality and comfort. Steering is handled by a dual pinion assist electric power steering system, which gives this car a quick steering ratio and a tight turning diameter. The electric power steering system adjusts steering effort based on speed, making the ADX light and easy to maneuver in parking lots, while remaining stable and precise at higher speeds. This A-Spec trim also features Acura's integrated dynamic system, which offers 4 selectable driving modes: snow, comfort, normal, and sport. These modes adjust throttle response, steering weight, and transmission behavior to better match different driving conditions and driver preferences, as I will demonstrate on our road test. Overall, this car is tuned to feel sportier than the standard ADX trims. Combined with its larger wheels, upgraded suspension tuning, and performance-focused stabilizer bars, the result is a sharper handling, reduced body roll, and more engaging driver experience, while still maintaining the comfort expected from a daily driver. Alright, now let's hear what this turbo four-cylinder sounds like. The ADX is definitely more refined than loud and will not turn heads like a Mercedes AMG or a BMW M car. But that's not what this car is meant to be. If you're looking for something with a better exhaust note, then you're really not looking for an SUV like this in a similar price range. Now, hopping inside the ADX, this is where it really shines. The ADX A-Spec gets power adjustable heated and ventilated front seats. All the seats are finished in this nice leatherette trim with micro suede inserts. And honestly, the seats are extremely comfortable. They're very soft, have a premium feel, and side bolstering holds you in place very well. One really nice feature is that both the heated and ventilated seats have 3 different temperature settings, and the heated and ventilation work through both the bottom and back portions of the seat. so you're getting full seat coverage instead of just one area. On hot days, the ventilated seats make a huge difference, and during the winter, the heated seats warm up pretty quickly. One thing I do wish this ADX had is memory seats. For a luxury SUV around this price point, that feature is something I'd expect to see. Moving on from the front seats, you also get sport pedals, ambient lighting on the front doors, which adds a very premium feel to the car, gloss black interior trim that looks nice and expensive, and this flat bottom leather sports steering wheel with metal paddle shifters. Once you start touching and feeling the materials throughout the cabin, you really notice the ADX's impressive build quality. Everything feels solid and well put together, with soft touch materials and silver accent finishes in all the right places. There are also no rattles or creaks when you press or tap on different parts of the interior. Overall, the ADX cabin feels very upscale, with a level of fit and finish that is comparable to its German rivals. Another thing to note is that there is actually a pretty decent amount of room in here. You get almost 42 inches of front leg room and nearly 38 inches in the rear. And for a compact SUV, the interior is very roomy and comfortable. Coming around to the center of the interior, you get a large center cubby with soft touch armrests, two cup holders, hill descent control, auto start stop, brake hold, and your drive mode selector with snow, comfort, normal, and sport modes. You also get dual zone climate control with rear AC vents and an auto dimming rearview mirror. In the ADX, you get a super responsive 9-inch touchscreen along with wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, wireless charging, USB-C ports for the front and rear, Wi-Fi hotspot compatibility, Acura Link, and Acura's 8-speaker premium sound system. The touchscreen itself is very responsive and easy to use, but I will say that the bezels around the screen are a little larger than I would have liked. It's not a big deal, but some competitors have a more modern looking touchscreen with smaller bezels and a wider display. Looking down at the gauge cluster, you get a 10.2-inch digital display with really impressive graphics. It shows you information like your adaptive cruise control settings, lane keep assist, steering assist, digital speedometer, road sign recognition, and radio controls. One thing I do wish Acura included though is a heads-up display. The RDX, MDX, and a lot of other competitors offer it, and it would have fit the premium feel of the interior really well. The 2025 Acura ADX A-Spec also comes packed with Acura's full AcuraWatch safety system and a ton of advanced driver assistance technology. You get forward collision warning, collision mitigation braking with pedestrian detection, lane departure warning, lane keep assist, road departure mitigation, active cruise control with low speed follow, traffic jam assist, and traffic sign recognition. The ADX also includes blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, and a multi view rear view camera with dynamic guidelines, which makes parking in tighter spaces much easier. In terms of crash protection, the ADX features Acura's ACE body structure along with front, knee, rear side, and side curtain airbags. You also get additional systems like vehicle stability assist, traction control, ABS brakes, electric brake distribution, brake assist, hill start assist, and tire pressure monitoring system. It also comes with LED daytime running lights and low speed automatic emergency braking. You also get additional systems like vehicle stability assist, traction control, ABS brakes, electronic brake distribution, brake assist, hill start assist, and tire pressure monitoring system. And like I said before, it comes with LED daytime running lights and low speed automatic emergency braking. Overall, Acura really loaded the ADX with standard safety tech, most of which its German rivals make you pay extra for. Okay, now let's see how this ADX drives. Probably one of the first things you'll notice about this car is just how smooth and refined it feels. Compared to something like a Honda HR-V especially, the ADX feels much more premium overall. One thing I will say though, and this is probably my biggest complaint with the car, is the engine sound. Now with that said, the handling on this car is actually really impressive for a compact SUV. Honda and Acura have always leaned to a more sportier build compared to brands like Toyota or Lexus, and I'm glad the ADX still kept that vision. The steering is really balanced, not too tight and not too heavy, and the suspension tuning is very well done. It's not overly stiff like some more sportier SUVs, but it's also not soft and floaty either. It hits a really nice middle ground between comfort and handling. Now with that said, you don't get adaptive dampers on some of the more advanced suspension technology you'll find in other sporty SUVs like the RDX and some German rivals. So this is definitely tuned more for daily comfort than outright sportiness. The overall ride quality is definitely a step up compared to a lot of SUVs in this price range. Road noise and wind noise is also kept to a minimum, with the cabin volume staying relatively quiet at higher speeds. The main thing you really hear is the artificial engine sound coming through the speakers, which I personally don't think is really necessary for a car like this. Visibility is also really excellent, and Acura gives you a ton of driver assistance features, as mentioned previously. The digital gauge cluster is by far my favorite feature of this car. The graphics look super clean and modern, and everything is laid out in a way that is really easy to read while driving. It also changes depending on what drive mode you're in, which gives the whole interior more premium and high-tech feel. I also like how it displays things like your adaptive cruise control graphics, lane keep assist, music info, and road sign recognition. From a driver's perspective, I honestly think this is one of the better SUVs for the money when it comes to overall features and refinement. It genuinely doesn't feel cheap in here at all. There are no rattles or weird noises while driving, and the overall build quality honestly reminds me of something like Mercedes or BMW. One thing this trim doesn't have though is a 360-degree surround view camera or parking sensors. You have to move up to the A-Spec Advanced trim or the RDX to get those features. But honestly, the backup camera is super clear, and since the ADX is fairly compact, I really don't think the extra cameras and sensors are necessary. As for acceleration, it's definitely decent enough. I wasn't expecting this thing to be a rocket ship or anything, but it absolutely has enough power for merging onto highways, passing slower traffic, and everyday driving. I also really like the wireless Apple CarPlay. You just hop in, everything connects automatically, and it makes navigating and music super convenient. Lastly, the stereo system in this car is very solid. This isn't even the top sound system available on the ADX, but for this setup, it sounds excellent with punchy bass, clear vocals, and nice mids. So overall, I think the 2025 Acura ADX A-Spec all-wheel drive is easily one of the best compact luxury SUVs in the segment. It looks sporty, feels genuinely premium inside, has a ton of standard technology and safety features, and it's also practical and comfortable enough to drive every day. And while there are a few features I wish it had, like memory seats, a heads-up display, Acura's super handling all-wheel drive system, I still think Acura absolutely nailed the overall package here. Around $40,000 brand new, this is the best value car in the entire luxury compact SUV class. A lot of its German competitors either cost more, have questionable long-term reliability, or make you pay extra for features that already come standard on the ADX. You're getting Acura/Honda reliability, a very upscale interior, solid performance, great technology, and a really refined driving experience all in one package. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you like the ADX? Would you buy this over something like a BMW X1, Audi Q3, Lexus NX, or Mercedes GLA? Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.